Hey Pittsburgh, it's Megan. Did you know CityCast Pittsburgh is part of a media collective run by Point Park University's Center for Media Innovation? The center is an incredible community resource, and they bring in great guest speakers. Next up is the Wall Street Journal's Jason Riley. He's a columnist and commentator and a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute with a breadth of knowledge about politics, education, social inequality, and so much more. You can see him at the Pittsburgh Playhouse Thursday, March 16th at 7 p.m. For tickets and more info, go to playhouse.pointpark.edu and use code WSJ for BOGO tickets. See you there. Here's what Pittsburgh is eating. The city has lost a bunch of amazing veggie-forward restaurants in the last year to burnout, to low staffing, and because the owners just needed to reset their lives. Hey, we get it. It's a bummer for all the eaters, but there are still some pretty amazing places to try. We've got the recommendations to keep you going. It's Thursday, March 16th. I'm Megan Harris, and this is CityCast Pittsburgh. It's Thursday, which means we're talking about food. I'm with CityCast newsletter editor Francesca Dabecco. Good morning, dear heart.
Good morning.
And I see from your face you've got a sad story to tell me.
Oh, I do. So I was taking an Uber the other day and my driver asked me about some of my favorite places to eat.
That's usually your favorite topic.
It is. It really is. But my brain first went to some spots that unfortunately no longer exist.
Such as?
Well, B52 in Lawrenceville came to mind. Rest in peace to all of the vegan shawarmas that I will never get to eat.
Oh, pour one out. I still think about that shiitake bacon avocado situation. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a good one. And then there's Onion Maiden in Allentown, which is planning to serve its last meal at the end of the month.
Also excellent. And also so on brand for Allentown. They really helped usher in that whole punk, metal, goth, grunge thing that the neighborhood totally digs on now.
Totally. Yeah. One of my favorite dishes was the Dan Halen noodles, like spicy Dan noodles.
I never had that. And it's existentially sad to think of all the meals from there I'll never eat.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sad about it. So anyways, my Uber driver.
I completely forgot that this started with an Uber story. Continue.
Yeah. He's like, it's got to be hard to be vegan in Pittsburgh. There just isn't much of a market for it.
Okay.
Right. I was like, totally disagree, sir. I actually think more people are discovering how tasty plant-based eating can be.
Yeah, totally agree. But gosh, let's back up, I guess. Last year we lost B52, Bitter Ends, and Reed & Co.
Yep.
All from the East End. Now Onion Maiden is closing. And you and I were just talking about Valkyrie Donuts is closing. They got my whole family through whole sections of my maternity leave. Gosh, I love them.
Yeah, they're up in Bellevue. They said that they're closing indefinitely, so we don't know what's going to happen next. I have to add one more to the list. Veggie in the South Side, they had great vegan burritos and baked goods and coffee. They're gone too.
What's going on? Why are all these spots shutting down?
Why? It's sort of a mixed bag. B52 closed because the owner was also managing Allegro Hearth Bakery in Squirrel Hill, which is still open and now serves a few things from the B52 menu. So, Megan, I think you can get that shiitake bacon sandwich there.
I can?
Yeah,
I didn't even think to check the menu.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that carried over. And of course, there's just other great vegan eats and fresh bread. But managing both spots just became too much for them. So now B52 on Butler Street is turning into a Mediterra.
Which does serve meat, but has a lot of really amazing veggie options. Shout out to the French toast. It's always seasonal and so good.
Yeah, I think that it'll be a great addition to the neighborhood. Maybe it'll fill the hole of B52, but people definitely are still missing it.
Yeah, for real. Supplemental, not replacement.
Yes.
What about Onion Maiden?
Honestly, kind of a similar situation. The owners there have been going at this for 8 years. Pittsburgh Magazine food editor Christy Laughlin talked to them and wrote a great piece. We'll link it in the show notes. They were putting in 14-hour workdays, and it was a lot for their mental and physical health.
I feel that deeply. You ever feel like your brain has just learned to operate at a pace that like isn't calculable or even healthy? Maybe that would have happened anyway, but I feel like the pandemic has made it so much worse for a lot of us.
Right. It's all just really sad, especially for meatless foodies like myself. The good news is that some version of Onion Maiden will still exist for a little bit. They've got a cool pop-up happening April 1st and 2nd. It's going to have soul food like chicken leg sandwiches that I think you'd really like.
Cool.
Honestly, it's like, I don't know, probably the most like a chicken sandwich I've ever had. It's called Chick Habit, and you'll still be able to find them in Allentown, but then you'll also be able to see them at the Bloomfield Saturday Market.
These are all such bummers. I'm a devoted omnivore, but definitely always down for some good veggies.
Yeah, everyone's welcome at this table.
I've never been great at sewing crafts, sorry Granny, but there's a resource here in Pittsburgh that makes all things sewing so much easier for beginners like me. Firecracker Fabrics is your friendly neighborhood sewing shop connected to Cut and Sew Studio in Morningside. Firecracker Fabrics specializes in mindfully sourced, small batch notions and natural fiber fabrics, even indie patterns and general tools, and you'll love their space. Firecracker Fabrics' mission is to foster a safe and inclusive environment for all shapes, genders, and ages, creating in the sewing world. You can shop their full inventory in-store or online at firecrackerfabrics.com. Or buy for your friends. They offer nationwide shipping and local pickup options. So stop in person, or check them out on Instagram for new products and easy-to-follow tutorials. That's at Firecracker Fabrics and firecrackerfabrics.com. So give us some happier news. What's opening?
Yeah, well...
Or is open?
One that keeps shining is Apteca, the Eastern European
always
spot.
Apteca.
Yes, always. That's the Eastern European spot in Bloomfield. It keeps getting national attention. The chefs were recently nominated as semifinalists for the 2023 James Beard Award Best Chef.
Congratulations to them. They always get good press. I know this is an unpopular hot take, but I don't know if all their food is always for me.
That's quite a spicy take.
I'm willing to concede that maybe I just haven't ordered well. They do have consistently good cocktails.
That's true.
Never a complaint there.
And some non-alcoholic things. I had a poppy seed soda last time, and it was interesting and refreshing.
Interesting is not always the category I'm looking for, but I like the recommendation. Where else is good for some sit-down vibes and bevies?
So this one is brand new. Allow me to introduce you to your new favorite way to eat your veggies.
Okay.
It's called EYV. It's in East Allegheny on what's dubbed as the growing Restaurant Row on East Ohio Street.
That feels true, actually.
Yeah. I mean, between that, Fig and Ash, Sempre
Algo.
Yeah. A lot of good spots over there. So Chef Mike Godleski has creative lead in the kitchen, and plants sourced by local farms are at the center of every plate. They've got snacks, small plates, large plates, sweets, also cocktails, mocktails, coffee, and tea.
What kind of food is that?
The flavors, I would say, are like innovative yet nostalgic. I guess it kind of rings towards like the Pittsburgh vibes of like Polish, German, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But it honestly varies. So for example,
I'm seeing cabbage pastrami on here, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's meant to like mimic the flavors of a Reuben. So it has Thousand Island hollandaise, sweet and sour onions, and like this rye Swiss crumble on top. The other thing that I had there that was so interesting was an apple toffee cake.
Okay, yes. Sign me up for that.
Yep. Served with, this is strange, but believe me, good. Celery root ice cream.
No, I'm out. I'm back out. I'm back out again.
She's like, no. Golden raisins. I can't remember if you're a raisin fan.
I like raisins, but I don't know that I need raisins with anything else. Anyway, continue.
Peanut butter mousse.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And candied peanuts.
That's quite the dessert there.
Well, it's kind of like a refined dessert that's inspired by like ants on a log. So very nostalgic, like I said, takes you back to your lunchbox days. Another good option for a date night or, just good vibes with drinks and stuff, which I am manifesting because I am so disappointed that I have not gone yet.
A recommendation she has not yet attended.
I know. I feel confident that I can recommend this, though, is Con Alma in Shadyside.
Oh, yeah, the jazz bar. I've been to their downtown spot. Excellent. People watching inside and out and really nice surroundings. But they definitely serve meat at the downtown location.
Right. The one in Shadyside is completely plant-based. They call it vegan food with soul, which makes sense given the jazz music. And the menu has things like stuffed peppers, wedding with risotto, pappardelle with mushrooms, pesto pasta. It all looks amazing.
Okay, I would put that on the list. Let's see. What about some more casual food? Because that was a little swanky.
Yeah, let's go get some casual to-go grub.
This isn't to go, it's sit down, but I'm personally a big fan of Zenith on the south side. It's a vintage store and they do weekend brunch. You get an entree and then I haven't been since the pandemic, but at the time they did half a buffet of nothing but sweet cakes and desserts.
Wow.
And then the other half was like sort of cold pastas and things like that. It kind of gave you like day after takeout vibes in the best way. It was really delicious. Also, pro tip, if you go at the end of the rush, they'll just hand it to you in takeout boxes. It was amazing.
That gives me like picnic vibes plus like going to grandma's house. You said antiques?
Yeah, there are antiques everywhere and you get served in different kinds of dishware. It's like the opposite of pretension.
I feel like I've failed at being a self-described Pittsburgh foodie and a vegetarian because I've not been here. And this sounds like heaven to me.
Your Instagram will thank you. While we're in the neighborhood, I would also recommend Double Wide Grill. Obviously, they have barbecue, so not entirely plant-based, but their patio is amazing, and I could literally just like rub my face in the seitan wings. They are better than actual chicken. Love them.
Oh, that sounds so good. Also talking about like American style grub, we got to shout out the pizza and seitan cheesesteak at Spack Brothers in Garfield.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was actually the first vegan pizza I had in Pittsburgh, and I was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, this can be done.
I don't know if they're still doing it, but they had fantastic donuts too.
Ooh, I've not had that. But another longtime fave of mine is Bebe's Kitchen in downtown. My partner is half Korean, and honestly, this is the closest I've found to his mom's food in Pittsburgh.
Aww.
Yeah, it's really good. My go-to order is totally vegan, the crispy tofu with plum sauce, japchae noodles, and kimchi. Their kimchi does not have fish sauce, so it's totally vegan.
Oh, that sounds really good.
And then on my side of town, Shadow Benny on the north side serves all vegan Trinidadian food like roti with chickpea, curry, mango chutney, plantain chips.
I'm ashamed of myself that I have not been there yet. Like I remember when they were just popping up at local farmers markets and everyone I know is raving about their food.
Yeah, definitely check out their spot on Brighton Road. Speaking of pop-ups though, there's a few that I want to call attention to. The first is mandu handu, more Korean food.
A favorite around here.
Yeah. Mandu is the word for Korean dumplings. She's got homemade kimchi, kimbap, which is basically like Korean, like sushi rolls, but like minus the fish. Tteokbokki, which are spicy rice cakes. She's often popped up at Two Phrase Brewery in Bloomfield, but you can follow mandu handu on Instagram to stay up to date on where they are.
I love the food trucks and how vocal they are in social media. We'll definitely link to that one in the show notes. Also, another one that's not exclusively vegetarian, but it sort of reminds me of that, is the Boonseek truck. Their Korean corn dog is to die for. I love a corn dog. They have a meat one, a cheese one, and a combo one. All incredible. Run, don't walk.
Yeah, it's like a corn dog, but it's like covered in panko, isn't it? It's like crispy.
And it's got like the gochujang spicy sauce. And it's so good.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to try that. There's also Veggies and That Co., which is a food truck too, but also catering. You can order their meals and even pick them up from their kitchen at Fulton Commons on the north side. Most of their stuff is gluten and nut-free too. I remember specifically they were doing a lot of like takeout stuff for Thanksgiving. So people getting like, veggie-friendly Thanksgiving catered and stuff like that.
Definitely.
And then there's 2 other vegan order options. These 2 deliver Chip and Kale, which is based in Beachview, and Remedy Kitchen, which is out in McMurray. But they still deliver, around the city.
Nice. So we've got the sit down, we've got the casual, we've got a few options for busy folks who literally want it put on their doorstep right this second. Let's finish up with dessert. What about sweets?
I have a sweet tooth. So I just recently went to Khyber Coffee in Polish Hill. They have great breakfast sandwiches, but also fresh donuts on Monday, Friday, and Saturday. And the flavors are chef's kiss.
Examples, please.
Yeah. I got the last chocolate raspberry donut when I went. It was really good.
The joy on your face.
Yes. That was definitely, I highly recommend. But they have had other flavors like chai, maple sprinkle, pistachio, lemon sugar, strawberry Oreo, blueberry.
Okay, you're gonna have to stop, or we're gonna have to leave the office.
Immediately go. I don't know. This could rival Valkyrie as far as vegan donuts are concerned.
Oh, it's too soon.
I know. And if you feel like heading a little northeast of the city, you can check out Sweet Alchemy Bake Shop in New Kensington. It's all plant-based, so cookies, pies, cakes, donuts. And oh my God, I recently saw that they posted a donut breakfast sandwich.
Stand by, pulling up a photo.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Wait, that's not meat or eggs?
No, it's not. Yeah.
Wow. It looks like a sort of a McMuffin, but better.
Yeah. And with a donut. I don't know if that's the way I want to start my morning, but also you do you. It sounds like it could be delicious. I love a maple syrup on my sausage. Well, veggie sausage.
Shout out to the maple.
Yeah. So I get the sweet and savory combo. But yeah, so that is what you have to look forward to if you go out to New Ken. And lastly, we have Butterwood Bake Consortium. They have a good bit of vegan options. And then there's this new wholesaler I've seen in coffee shops around town called Shariah's Plant-Based Treats. You can find them at Coffee Tree Roasters, actually Shadow Benny, which we were just talking about, Churn, the Government Center, which is that record store coffee shop on the north side, Carnegie Coffee Company.
There's a bunch of places, it sounds like.
Yeah, they're really popping up. And this one really sparked my inner child joy because she specializes in pastries that are almost like Pop-Tarts. So I just love that.
Yeah. Looks like we've got a lot of veg-forward food to try.
Yeah, the wild thing is that I have so many others that I didn't even get to mention, but this should really fill you up for today.
Folks will just have to check out the Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. Thanks, Francesca.
Thanks, Megan.
A little more news before you go. We'll start with the foodstuffs. It's almost trout season. If you think it doesn't affect you, you must not be a fish eater. Starting April 1st, thousands of hatchery-raised rainbow and golden rainbow trout will be free for sport fishing in state waterways, along with brown and brook trout. And even if you don't support eating them yourselves, they also keep our bald eagles and other birds well fed throughout the year. And speaking of water, Sandcastle has been named one of the nation's best water parks by U.S. News and World Report. The judges called its collection of 16 water slides, quote, nostalgic. And it is, but it's also, I don't know, it looks like what it is, a 67-acre water park on a former rail yard built in the 80s. Go see for yourself, though. Summer begins at Sandcastle on Memorial Day weekend. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you enjoyed hearing from our dear Francesca, then reward her by subscribing to that Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. You can find all the info you need about new restaurants and things to do. It's really the best. It always keeps you busy. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then.
Happy breath sounds.